Let's begin by creating a new document. You say, wow, that was fast. Well, think of it this way. Let me close out of that. I usually start by saying go to File, New, which I do, and the shortcut's Control-N. That's Command-N on a Macintosh, Control-N in Windows. And then it's got what I want because I use it all the time, so I know it's going to be here, and I click OK, which you can hit the Return key, and that's Return on a Mac and Enter on Windows, to get to it. So instead of going through that, I press the shortcut, Control or Command-N, and immediately hit the Return or the Enter key, and I got there. Just a faster way to get there. Shortcuts, as I mentioned, save you 1 hour out of every 8 if you use them. That's pretty neat. Now, what are we doing here? Well, we're going to look at something that's been around for a while under Effects. Actually, most of that stuff has been, to be honest with you. But it's kind of fun to work with. It's using three-dimensional effects inside of Illustrator. And let's start with, since I've done this all day long, let's go ahead and put a star on the screen. I promise we won't end with a star. That is my promise to you. Okay, so something like that. Okay, just make a star. Actually, you can make any shape you want to. And I'm going to turn off the stroke right here. Now, as for fill, well, give it a color. Color is up to you. Okay, there we go. Let me go ahead and move this over just a little bit like that. Okay. Now, I do have Smart Guides on. I think I'm going to turn those off with the shortcut, and that is Control and Windows Command on a Mac U, or go up to the word View and change it. We'll use those later, but I don't need them right now. Sometimes they get in the way, in my opinion. Okay, so we got our star, fine. Go up to the word Effect and go down to 3D. Now you have 3, Rotate, Revolve, and Extrude and Bevel, and we'll work from the bottom up. Let's start with Rotate. That's actually the easiest one. In Rotate, you are rotating a two-dimensional object, but it remains two-dimensional. So if I turn on the preview right here, you can see it. It's just changing the view of it, in a sense. You're looking at a flat surface, but you're viewing it from a different angle. I use this a lot if I'm creating things like boxes or a dining room table or something where I need a particular way that it looks in terms of perspective, and I plug in the actual numbers up here. Now you can change the shading, a no to diffuse, and if you have more options, you do. You only have one for this, and that's if it's got spot colors, preserve them. That's it. Now let's go ahead and get out of that, go back to the star. Let's go up to Effect again, and go down to 3D, and go into Revolve. This one's kind of neat. In Revolve, well, watch what happens. Well, it revolves the star like it's on a big potter's wheel. And again, you can change here, or by the numbers, what we see, or how we view it, our angle to it. You have the revolve angle down here. Now, if I change that, say, to somewhere around 180, it kind of opens it up, doesn't it? And to me, what I see there, I kind of see like a really futuristic, very uncomfortable chair by opening it up. So let's go ahead and take that back to 360. The capping option, in this case, I don't think it's going to show us much. It creates more of an open shape. We'll look at that later. You can offset it. Let me show you that one too. And this is new. This is a new feature, incidentally. So you're offsetting it either from the left edge or the right edge. Let's take that back down. You can change the surface. You've got wireframe, diffuse, no shading at all. Plastic is the default. And if we go into more options here, let me move that up now. You can work with the lights. For example, right now we have a light source right here. I can move it someplace else. I can add a light if I want to. I can then change the intensity, the ambience, the highlight, size, blend steps, and shading color of that particular light. I can preserve spot colors, and I can draw hidden faces. I don't think we have any, so that's not going to make any difference. Now, you have an option for mapping art. We're going to save that to last. Now, let's go ahead and get out of here, back to our original star. Let's go back up to Effect and go down to 3D and go into Extrude and Bevel. Now, in Extrude in Bevel, again, you have the ability, let me turn on the preview, to change the perspective of it, how we see it, but we're dealing now with a shape where we're just doing an extrusion. That's all we're doing. And we can do the extrusion depth. Now, here's where cap will make more sense. Let me open it up. See, there's no kind of like walls or fills in it. It just creates a cap, so it looks like a straight ribbon or something. We can change the bevel. There's a classic bevel. We can change the surface, and there's map art one more time, but we're still going to save that for last. We can extrude, change it, whatever. Understand if we click OK, It is part of our appearance panel, and if we come back tomorrow, we can get rid of it if we want to. Let's go ahead and cancel out of here, and now let's get rid of our star. Pick up your pen tool. Now I want my Smart Guides on. So I'm going to use the shortcut that's Control or Command on a Mac, Control on Windows U, or go up to the word View, Smart Guides. Now I'm going to come here. I'm going to make like a ceramic pot for plants. I'm going to start right about here and click. I'm going to move straight over to about here and click, and the Smart Guide lets me know I'm straight. I'm going to move down. Ceramic pots kind of have a big lip on them, so I'm going to get to about here. I'm going to come in just a little, not much, to about there. And then I'm going to slope it down like right about here, and then move over a little bit more, keep it straight, kind of half a pot, if you will. Okay? Now, I don't need a fill for this, but I need a stroke. So over here, if I click this button right here, it reverses those two. Okay, there's half of my pot. Let me pick up my selection tool and let me move that over just a little. Now, I would think that a ceramic pot might be more in the reds. So let's come over here and pick up a red. Now, we've got the stroke selected over here, don't forget. Maybe something in that general area like that. Okay, now I'm happy. Now, we are going to apply mapping artwork to that. So I want to show you what we need to do up front. Go into your symbols. Now, if you've never done this before, bear with me, because in order to apply artwork and map it to a three-dimensional shape, it has to be a symbol. We can use these, but none of those I think would work good on a ceramic pot. So let's go into our library and go into flowers, and let's pick up, well, maybe this one. Actually, this one, since the pot's going to be kind of red anyway. Let's use this one right here. Now, you could have as many as you want, but we're just going to use that one. And close this out. Now it's over here, and again, that's important. We have it selected. Go up to the word Effect, go into 3D, and select Revolve. This is actually pretty cool. We're making a pot. It's a ceramic pot. We come over here. We can play around with it just like we've done before. Change it. Look down the side, see if there's anything in it. I don't think there is. Let's go ahead and put it back to something about like that. Now we can change. We've played with all this stuff up here. What we're talking about is mapping artwork. Now we click Map Artwork. Now we need to decide what surface to map it on. Now you'll notice it's saying that ring right there. We don't want to map it there. So we keep going through this by clicking here. Now understand it's going to start on the inside and go to the outside. So that's actually the inside. You could put the artwork in there. If you had it at the right angle, you could see it. But we want to go to the outside, and that's it right there. That's the outside. So remember, it starts on the inside and works out if you're where you are. Now, go to symbol here, and there it is. There's our aster. And there's the other symbols that are there. So it's got to be in the symbols library. Click aster. See it right there? Little tiny thing. Let's make it bigger. Go bigger, go home. Now, you could say scale to fit, which would take the whole thing and put it right in there, and I don't want that. But I do want it bigger than that. Well, it's a flower pot. It's got a flower on it. Why not? Now, we can shade the artwork. That's a little bit slower, but it makes it blend into the pot if you want to do that. I think I'll do that. And we can look at it with invisible geometry if you want to see it that way. And you know what? I kind of like it. Click OK. Now, watch what happens when we move it again. Well, it follows the pot. It redraws. It's skinning to the pot. You click OK, and there you go. So the 3D effects have been there for a long time. They haven't really changed. The mapping artwork to me is kind of neat because you could map a label on a wine bottle. You could put a flower on a flower pot, whatever you want. 3D effects in Adobe Illustrator.